It's a little fast.
Yeah, it's a little quick. So. How are y'all? Good.
You want to do a question of the day, a better question of the day? You like, is that one okay?
It's fine.
You're listening to Sports
I think we rock out with it, baby.
93.9 WTGZ, Union Springs, Montgomery, and Auburn, and AM 620 WTRP, LaGrange. The opening segment of Sports Call is brought to you by JD's Tire and Auto. When looking for service, selection, quality, and value, no one does it better than JD's Tire and Auto in Alexander City. Offering any brand of tire you need with professional installation and fast turnaround. JD's Tire and Auto, the total package for all your vehicle needs.
Have to be Alabama.
It's going to be a show to watch. From Tiger Communications. Jackson! For 20 years, East Alabama sports talk leader. Sports Call. Call in now at 887-3401 locally. Or 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free. And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plain, Sports Call.
Hello again, everyone, and good Friday afternoon. Welcome into the latest edition of Sports Call. I am Andy Graham alongside Brett Pritchard, and we'll be with you for the next 2 hours, taking your phone calls and discussing everything going on in the world of sports. We appreciate so much all of you out there joining us today. You can check us out on our Facebook page. You can send us a tweet at SportsCallAU, but we'd love to hear from you personally. So give us a call, 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free, or locally at 334-887-3401 on the Auburn Opelika Tourism Hotline. Again, we appreciate you tuning us in today, whether that be on 93.9 The Tiger or sportscallauburn.com via the internet. We would love to have you. We are glad to have you today, and would love to get your opinion on anything that we talk about today, or if you'd like to bring up a new subject, by all means, give us a call. A lot to talk about today. We'll kind of bounce around, talk about a lot of different things. We'd like for you to lead us. Kind of anything goes on Friday. We don't have a certain topic. We want to just kind of let you lead us to what you want to talk about. Again, I mean, if you like baseball, if you don't like baseball, all that's on today is baseball. 4 playoff games. And
what about the road teams right now, Andy?
Unbelievable. And the Rangers and the Blue Jays started in the AM today, and that game is still going on. That game started 11:45 today, and it is now in the bottom of the 13th. Josh Donaldson's at the plate. He's already homered. He homered in the first, but it is 4-4 in the bottom of the 13th with 1 out, and Josh Donaldson at the plate. The Blue Jays, of course, upset by the Rangers last night as they dropped game 1. The Rangers won 5-2. Donaldson took a knee to the helmet, but he's okay, obviously, for today. The Astros beat the Royals 5-2 in game 1 last night. And again, that game today, the Astros ahead of the Royals right now. Last score I saw was, I think, 4-1, 3-1, something like that.
What in the world?
How about those? I mean, hey, they knocked the Yankees out. I'm on board. I love the Astros. So the Cubs and the Cardinals play tonight at 5:45, and then the Mets and the Dodgers will round it out tonight at 8:45 in a day filled with Major League playoff baseball. I love day baseball. There's something about it. Auburn soccer unable to continue their winning streak last night as they fall 2-0 to South Carolina in Columbia. South Carolina leading the SEC, number 10 in the country. Auburn was number 8 going into this game, but dropped 2 early goals in the first half. Just didn't really play that well. But that's how, Auburn will come home and try to forge on from that. Our question of the day today, again, we're bouncing around, but who is the best team in the SEC right now? 5 weeks into the season, who is the best team in the SEC? We've kind of, done these Sports Call power rankings, and we'll do that again today, give our thoughts on that. And we'd love to talk about anything Auburn. And there's some question of whether Jeremy Johnson might be the starter to play Kentucky next Thursday night. How do you feel about that? A lot of SEC games this week, although 4 teams taking a bye this week, Auburn, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky all off. We'll make some predictions of games around the country, but we'd love to hear from you. We thought trivia question out there in the next segment. We're taking your predictions, Georgia versus Tennessee this week. Auburn having a bye week. Nick Chubb rushing yards being the tiebreaker. But, again, a lot to talk about. But I want to open with Southern Cal at Washington, a 17-point favorite.
This is twice now they've been a double-digit favorite at home and lost. So Sark, and he looked befuddled, bewildered, whatever you want to say about his facial expressions over on the sideline. We had a game last night in high school football that got done fairly late, so got home and caught the end of that USC game, and 12 points. And I mean, just there's no excuse. I mean, it's very similar. I mean, here we are up here talking about somebody saying there's no excuse. I mean, there's no excuse for the way Auburn's playing either. There's a lot of that going on in college football this year, Andy. We're not the outlier by no stretch of the imagination. Now, I wish we weren't. I wish we weren't in this boat of teams that we're talking about. But there's a lot of teams that had expectations that just aren't really playing that well. And, Alabama seemed to get back on track against Georgia. But for the most part, they got that sour taste in their mouth after losing to Ole Miss. And then Ole Miss goes down. Looks like Ole Miss may have started their way to the top of the SEC West, and they go down to Florida and get thumped by a guy that's got the flu. I mean, Will Greer had the flu all week, and he goes out there and only ties, I believe, did he tie a Florida record for touchdown passes and a half? At 4, I believe, 4 or 5, whatever it ended up being. But now you got Missouri, Florida coming up tomorrow, and I wouldn't be shocked if Missouri knocked Florida off. I mean, I really wouldn't, because they've got turmoil up there. Matty Mock suspended indefinitely. This will be the second game for that freshman quarterback for Missouri. So. But anything goes, man, in the SEC. And am I missing something on this Tennessee-Georgia line? Am I missing something that's 2.5 for Georgia? I mean, Tennessee, it seems to me, the wheels have fallen off, and Georgia's back's against the wall. I mean, they still can get to the Eastern Division Championship or win the Eastern Division Championship and go to the SEC Championship as the Eastern Division representative. And if they go to Tennessee and lay an egg, they won't be going. And so, I mean, that's just that simple. So, maybe I'm missing something. Is that a sucker bet?
I think a lot of people. They're looking at it and they're saying, Oklahoma's pretty good, and Tennessee had a 17-point lead going in the fourth quarter. They look at it and say, hey, Florida's pretty good, and this Tennessee team should have beat them on the road. And just kind of blew it.
But they let Arkansas come in.
They did let Arkansas give up almost 500 yards of offense. Their defense is terrible. There's no doubt about that. But I think people look at them and they say this Georgia team's not as good as we thought it was. And this Tennessee team is not terrible. Now, is this going to be one of those games where, and this is going to be one of those games where backs against the wall. Chancellor comes out today or yesterday and says, "Look, Butch Jones, we're confident nothing happened. It was a non-incident.
Sure.
It's a non-issue.
Sure.
Never happened." Of course, mind the Cincinnati guy that comes out and says he was hitting players at Cincinnati all the time.
Are you really shocked by the demeanor of Butch Jones? I mean, he looks like he could fly off the handle at any second. I mean, his face is constantly blood red. I mean, if he doesn't have a stroke on the sideline first, he is just a guy that seems like is a firecracker waiting to explode all the time. But look, if he doesn't start winning some of these games, I don't care how close, horseshoes and hand grenades, this is not, okay? This is football, and nobody cares what the score is at the end of the third quarter. They care what the score is at the end of the fourth quarter, and every time the fourth quarter rolls around, the fans tense up, the players tense up, he tenses up. You can tell it's just like they dread that. It's just like that old kid's book. Grover, Sesame Street, there's a monster at the end of this book, and you just keep flipping pages, and with every page you just get more and more nervous and more anxious, and that's what Butch Jones is. They're great in the first quarter and good in the second. Third quarter, man, we've got a lead, and boy, the fourth quarter hits, and it's like all bets are off, and they got to figure out a way to finish a game or else. I don't know what Tennessee can do other than get rid of him and try to go to somebody else, because this is just continuing a streak that Tennessee doesn't want to continue anymore.
I think we've been doing this show almost 3 years now. I believe that is the first Sesame Street reference that we've had on the show.
Got to throw a Sesame Street.
First.
There's a first for everything. And walking in today, I had no plans to use a Sesame Street reference. Andy, sometimes it just comes up.
That's right. It just comes out when it comes out.
That's SEC football for you
there
right now.
Go. Sports Call today brought to you by Home Place Mortgage. Home Place Mortgage of Auburn and Lake Martin, the region's best mortgage professionals and rates for all new home or refinancing mortgage services. Come to the right place. Home Place Mortgage of Auburn and Lake Martin. You can check them out at their website, homeplacemtg.com. Again, a lot going. I mean, we're talking about quarterbacks in the SEC not living up to bill. But, I mean, Cody Kessler. I mean, people talked about him as a Heisman candidate. You watch him last night? 2 interceptions. I mean,
he's horrible.
Very mundane. Now, I mean, Washington supposedly got the best defense, at least numbers-wise,
in the
Pac-12.
How good did Washington feel beating them last night?
Oh, my goodness. And, any time like this, and obviously USC has already dropped 2 games now, and you immediately go back to the, fight on, baby. Well, I mean, it's Sark, and you watch him on the sideline, and that's who he is. Okay? I mean, he's dropping F-bombs left and right every 5 seconds. I mean, that's who he is. So, I mean, that was not out of – I mean, I was mixing pills and medication.
Whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This is who you are, brother. I mean, and so this is what they have. And all you heard was Sark's the guy. He's an SC guy. He's the one we want. Kiffin, he was a blue. Sark, that's who – he's the guy. Well, now you got it.
Well, I want to go out there, and me and you did not have this in our notes to discuss today, but since we're talking about coaches and since we've gotten – all right, we're not talking about any particular team out there. Andy, if you could go out and get any coach in the country right now, who would you get to build your program around? I mean, who would you get? Because everybody's like, we all feel like we get the best guy and we pay them this money, and things just don't start to pan out well. We start to shop around again. Who do you feel like is the guy out there? I mean, is it Gary Patterson at TCU? Is it, who is it out there that you would say, man, if I could have him, I think he would be a guy that would be here 10, 12 years?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to really think about it. I mean, obviously.
In the last coaching.
Nick Saban's the best.
Well, I understand that.
He's 70. He's 65.
He's getting close to it. Exactly. I mean, he's not building anybody's program again. I mean, he's going to finish at Alabama. But what my point is going back. Auburn interviewed Gary Patterson at TCU. I mean, what would Gary Patterson be doing at Auburn right now? I mean, Gus Malzahn, he comes into Auburn, and, man, you couldn't ask for anything more. He takes the team to a national championship game by all rights and purposes, should have won the thing. Okay? So there's a hiccup in the road right now, and but I talked to Dontarius Thomas, former Auburn linebacker, yesterday, and he said, look, I've got all the faith in the world in our coaches and our players, and I do too. I mean, you got to have that attitude. You cannot have the ship is sinking attitude all the time, but you also you have to be real and face up when you have problems. And I think that's what we've discussed on this program. You don't know what we'll see Thursday night out of this Auburn football team. I mean, a lot's happened since we played last. Duke Williams is gone. The talk has really ramped up that Jeremy Johnson will be back on the field starting. I don't know how it all will play out, but who would you feel like is a guy that, it's not about any team or anybody's coach right now, but who would you go after out there in the country? And I'll pose that question to everybody listening. 1-888-9-TIGER 9-334-887-3401. If you had your pick of anybody to go out and start your program, start your team. Now, we're not talking about Auburn or Alabama or anybody else's team, right? I'm talking about if you had a team and you wanted to go out there and get a guy to lead your team, who would you pick and why? Why would you pick that guy? What would make you pick him? What would make him be the guy you feel like could sustain a good, solid program and give you an opportunity to win year in and year out in championships?
It's a good question, and I'm not sure there's one guy, but I might come up during the break. I'll try to come up with a top 5. And I mean,
Bob Stoops is a big name. I don't want Bob Stoops. I mean, Jimbo Fisher is a big name. I don't want Jimbo Fisher. I mean, what makes you just so elated when these names come up and they're the same names that pop up? I mean, Dabo Swinney's doing a great job at Clemson. Do you want him? I mean, Clemson's notorious for laying an egg, almost like Georgia is. at some point in time. I mean, they're a great program, but they just can't quite get over the hump. There's one little hurdle that always seems to get in the way.
What we talk about on the show quite a bit about that sustaining success. I looked at Dabo's record today. I think he's 5 years in a row double-digit wins.
He has. He's
working on another one this year.
He's done a tremendous job.
But it's in the ACC. How do you balance that? So could you do that in the SEC? I mean, that excuse kind of wears thin after a while, but there is obviously some legitimacy to it. But it's easier to do in the ACC. But I don't know. We'll ponder it, and love to hear from you. 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free. Locally at 334-887-3401.
I mean, is Oregon asking that question right now since Chip Kelly has gone? I mean, I know Oregon's in the playoff last year, but this team doesn't look very good at all. I mean, this team's not very – this is not even the typical Oregon team that really scores a lot of points and really scares you to death. I mean, they're not – that's another underachieving team coming into the season. So, Ohio State. I mean, you can say what you want to. Urban Meyer's got a good track record, but Andy, they're playing in a weak conference, and all of the players and all the talents on that team, and they're squeaking out wins against Indiana and some of these other. I mean, come on, man. I mean, what is it? I mean, there's just a lot. There is no. I guess my point is there isn't a perfect guy out there, and everybody's always wanting to get rid of somebody to go after somebody else. Well, who are you going after? Who is that guy? I mean, you're right. Nick Saban's kind of set himself apart from everybody else. And, unfortunately for us, that's our cross-state rival. But we got to deal with it and figure it out. I know we got to go to a break. Shadow is on the line. If you'll just hold there, we'll pick you up on the next side, okay?
Don't go anywhere. More Sportscall presented by Home Place Mortgage right after this.
Auburn Lake at exit 51 features Bermuda grass green and rolling fairways along Farthersville Creek. By taking advantage of the natural beauty already in place, Auburn Lake is a scenic yet great layout for every golfer. Golf Digest presented Auburn Lake with the 4-star award, and Link Magazine once ranked the course third best among public courses for the Southeast region. It's one of the best golfing values in the South. Visit their website for more information at auburnlakes.com. For key guides, call 887-5151.
Spirit begins at Tiger Rag. Show your school pride with the best selection of Auburn gear around, like comfort color long and short sleeve tees, Under Armour gear, sweatshirts, button-ups, hats, and of course, Tiger Rag is the exclusive home of the Albee and Company collection. If you're not wearing Tiger Rags this football season, you're just wearing rags. 138 South J Street in Auburn or online at tigerrags.com. Tiger Rags, where spirit begins.
United Auto Collision is now open in their new location at Glenn Smith on Columbus Parkway in Opelika. It's complete frame and body repair, factory and custom paint jobs, and they offer free estimates. All United Auto Collision work is guaranteed, and all insurance companies are accepted. Go see Ed Tankersley and a friendly staff that has over 30 years experience today and United Auto Collision, 620 Columbus Parkway in Opelika, or give them a call at 334-203-1535. You want to party, tailgate, relax with a few drinks, have wine with your romantic dinner? The Cold Keg can help you make all these things happen and more. With over 65 draft beers, including 4 selections of nitro, available by the gallon, half gallon, or pint or can. They have the size and quantity of beer that's perfect for anything. And with a growing selection of wine and liquor, they got you covered there. It's family owned and operated and open as early as 8 a.m. on game day. The Cold Keg is the best store ever. Open 7 days a week at the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center on South College Street in Austin. Call 826-BEER and we'll serve your keg today.
Since Ware Jewelers' first day of business in 1946, they have been inviting customers to experience their unrivaled quality, value, and service. And now they want to show their gratitude to their loyal customers with this year's annual Customer Appreciation Sale. Now through October 31st, get up to 25% off in every department and double reward points on most designer brands with layaway and financing options available. The Customer Appreciation Sale, now through Halloween at Ware Jewelers, Auburn, Opelika, East Chase, Montgomery, and Spanish Fort.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Friday edition of Sports Call. Andy and Brett here with you until 6 o'clock, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free, locally at 334-887-3401 on the Auburn Opelika Tourism Hotline.
So I want to make a point real quick before we go to the phones. I know Shadow's waiting. Got a tweet out there, and please feel free to tweet us, and we'll respond. But at Insane Albee says, "Are you really talking about coaches? Really?" And in his tweet, and here's my point: it's not talking about doing away with a coach or us up here criticizing any coach. We support Gus Malzahn and everything that's going on at Auburn. What my point is that fans are so quick when things are down to start the yang and everything going on about getting rid of somebody, and always and what I'm trying to say is, who out there is so great that you run out there and get? I mean, I'm naming all these top tier coaches off out there, and I'm saying that none of them really jump off the page at me. There is not a one guy out there. I mean, Mark Richt a great coach. I don't necessarily pawn over Mark Richt. He can't get the job done when the chips are on the table. I mean, I'm naming off all these different coaches that we're supposed to be so great, and so we got a great coach. You know, we got some things that aren't working out for us right now. Stay the course. If it doesn't work out in a year or two or whenever it is, then the administration will take care of business. But at some point in time, you got to buy in and you got to ride the ship and hope the ship rights itself. So let's go back to the phone lines. That's the point I was trying to make. Shadow, you're on Sports Call.
Thank you for taking the call. My pick, if I had my pick of any, would be Gus Malzahn.
There you go.
Gus Malzahn, when he came in this place, he got it done in the first year. This man can get it done. You know, we don't have to make this thing chaotic. Gus made a mistake at quarterback. The problem at Auburn under Gus has never been the offense. And the problem is defense, and it has been so for ever since the end of 2010. So you have a starting place. It is the defense that's the problem. What I would like to suggest is, and I have for some time, is that our defensive backs would turn their heads and play the ball in the air and get pressure on the quarterback. You know, listen, if we're not getting pressure on the quarterback with the players we have, you know, I don't know how you do it, because Auburn's been recruiting great. They've been recruiting high energy defensive linemen. They've been rated as some of the best in the country. We can do this thing, but now it seems like we're starting to make an excuse. Well, we just can't get pressure on the quarterback. The thing I believe will change that is a change in your defensive line coach. You already need 7 recruits on the defensive line now. You're behind. How long do you think it's going to take for Auburn to get 7 new recruits in on the defensive line and make them effective? We're going to keep getting behind is my point. I would have chosen John Chavis. Oh, by the way, how's he doing at Texas A&M?
They're having a good year so far.
Well, how is McElwain doing at Florida?
They are the toast of the town right now in Gainesville.
Well, I'm just not going to agree with anybody that says or comes to the conclusion, well, Auburn's just got a bunch of defensive linemen and have had a bunch of defensive linemen since 2011, and they just can't get pressure on the quarterback. I'm sick of that. I'm tired of it. It is not just Lawson that knows how to play football. The mark of a good coach to me is being able to get more out of him on the field, is to make him play above himself. And Auburn can do it, but I just don't believe we can do it with Jeremy Johnson. Thank you.
Appreciate the call, Shadow, and we'd love to hear from you out there. 1-888-9-TIGER-9 334-887-3401. Shadow been critical of Gus Malzahn, but he comes out today and said, "Look, if I had to choose one, it'd be Gus." We can all try to, we all want our team to do extremely well. So when things are down, we want to, voice our opinion on what we feel like, is going wrong and how we can fix it and all. So yeah, I think our comment, our what we're talking about today, Andy's really good to prove that even though things aren't going the way you want them to go, there is not some super coach out there that everybody's just going to run to that's going to come in and correct all ills. And I mean, because Gus Malzahn's already done that. Now he's having to go through some adversity, and we'll see how he plays his way out of it. So people don't need to get all upset when we talk about, hey, who would you run to? It's a point that we're trying to make, is that there isn't somebody out there that you want to run to. We've got a pretty doggone good coach. We got to figure out what's going on. Yeah,
no question about it. Everybody's got flaws, and you don't see that. I mean, everything's good, and everything. All you see is the good when you look around the country and you pick out a guy like that. But you don't find out who you got really or what you got until you get down the road and you have some adversity. I think that's why the second half of this season is so important, and that's why I want to see what this team is made of. I mean, are we going to fight? Are we going to scratch, claw, try? What if we go 5-7? Well, I mean, if it's a 5-7 where we're losing, by 7 points, then it is what it is. But if it's like a 2012 where you just totally lose the team and there's not even effort being given at the end of the year, it's a different story. You have to kind of let the season play out and look at it and kind of evaluate them. But like you say, I mean, it's just all these kind of things come up when you have a season like this, and Auburn's just got to figure out how to keep the bottom from falling out.
Well, I'm going to tell you how crazy it can get, and Nick Saban's proven that he's at the top of the heap in college football. But all we've heard in the all season is, well, if Urban Meyer, goes all the way and he wins and he's going to win another national championship, he's going to trump Nick Saban in this era of being the best, head to head. Urban Meyer's going to have more wins against, and all this. And they're trying to put all this pressure on Nick Saban. Like, boy, he's falling off the wagon. If he doesn't beat Urban Meyer, then, I mean, it's just how things operate. And it's what everybody has to deal with. As far as these coaches that get paid a lot of money, even the Nick Sabans, even the Urban Meyers up there that have been consistently at the top, they have all that stuff to deal with. So look, everybody's not immune to it. In any point in time, everybody can panic. I mean, I think some Alabama fans were panicking a little bit even after the Ole Miss game, because they saw the rest of the schedule and like, well, Lord, what are we going to do now? We lost at home to Ole Miss. The ship's crumbling. So everybody's just quick a lot of times to panic. And we just got to see, look, we can, and I'm being overly optimistic today, but I'm telling you, if we go to Kentucky and get a solid win on the road, Andy. We all know what winning does. It cures ails, and you just got to see progress. You know, not a mundane win like a San Jose State, but a good, solid, convincing win. Going up there, knowing you played really well, and you beat a team that's pretty good, especially at their home.
Absolutely. Although I would take a 1-point win.
Oh, I take another 3-2.
Absolutely. Go ahead and throw a trivia question out there. Rudy Ford had 14 tackles against San Jose State. Who holds the Auburn record for tackles in a single game? Rudy Ford had 14 tackles against San Jose State. Who holds the Auburn record for tackles in a single game? There's our trivia question for today. Up against a break, but don't go anywhere. More Sportscall, presented by Home Place Mortgage, is on the way.
Call us for all of your mortgage needs. Call Home Place Mortgage of Auburn at 334-521-7600 today. 334-521-7600. What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG, Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Wall Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Wall Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Wall Tire. Call today at 256-825-2628. At Bone and Joint Specialist, there is no better feeling than to know that we have helped make someone's life better. Orthopedic surgeons Dr. Paul Goldhagen and Dr. Martha George treat all injuries and conditions related to your bones, joints, and muscles for both adult and pediatric patients while specializing in arthritis and sports medicine. 256-329-9133 or visit us online at bonesandjoints.com. Alexander City, Sweet Comfort, Chicago, and Daysville. Bone and Joint Specialist, getting you back into the game of life.
Allegiant Staffing is your solution. We serve Auburn, Opelika, Montgomery, Wetumpka, Talladega, Alexander City, and the LaGrange, Georgia area. Allegiant Staffing concentrates on light industrial, hospitality, clerical, engineering, and upper-level management positions. So whether you're a business owner looking for hardworking employees or someone seeking an entry-level opportunity or an advancement in your career, Allegiant Staffing is the employment agency for you. Visit our website at allegiantstaffing.com to find the closest branch near you.
Over the years, Lake Martin Community Hospital has served the Lake Martin area with a personal touch and grown to better serve your needs, including MRI services,
Tighten that up.
facility, wellness center, home health services, hospice program, full service
Pick this
pharmacy, family medical center, and Lake Martin Community Hospital is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. That's the personal touch that makes the difference. At Lake Martin Community Hospital in Daysville. Are you looking to book a Walt Disney vacation or cruise? Fairy Tale Journeys is here to make sure your experience is magical. Fairy Tale Journeys is an authorized Disney vacation planner which specializes in booking your Disney
Two
home.
calls.
Fairy Tale Journeys services are free and include more than 200
Terry
holiday
first,
vacations
then
to help
Dan.
make your Disney dreams come true. From lodging and fast passing to Magic Dance and other Disney experiences.
And we had
Call Fairy Tale
4
Journeys
Terrys.
today and start
Oh, maybe we
booking
just
your
had 3
Disney
Terrys in a
dreams
row.
come true. 256-825-2668.
Ever envisioned watching your favorite team score a touchdown?
We actually had Terry from Talladega yesterday.
I'm Angela Van Houten.
First time I'd heard him in a while.
Lake Area Realty. I want
Terry
them
from
to
Talladega?
find the
He
home
called?
perfect
Yeah.
for your lifestyle. Whether it's a
Wanted to
lake home,
wanted to move
perfect
Rock
bed,
Thomas
or
to
a
wide
home in the
receiver.
country with acres of land. You aren't buying just a home. you're buying a lifestyle. Call or text me today, 256-596-0566. Visit my website, avhlakemartin.com. Angela Van Houten, helping families like yours make memories of a lifetime.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Call on this Friday afternoon. Andy and Brett here with you for about an hour and 25 more minutes or so, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free or locally at 334-887-3401. And we'll go back to the AO Tourism Hotline.
Yeah, let's pick up Terry. Terry, you're on Sports Call.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for taking the call. I just got a question, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck or anything like that, but let me ask you something, and I'm being sincere. You had 7 players during spring and fall camp on defense that left the team for whatever reason. Now you got Duke, who's gone on offense. Is Auburn's recruiting the right type people, or is the coaching staff just not acceptable of people that you go out? And you talking about 8 players that Duke would start, no doubt about it. So, I mean, and I'm sure it's all field annex. So that gets into what I'm talking about. You know, you just recruiting something with people because they have some athletic ability, or are you recruiting people that has the integrity and athletic ability, or is your coaching staff just out of touch with how to deal with the people? And I mean that in the utmost respect. I mean, when you lose 7 people on defense that you give them scholarships to, there's something wrong. There's something wrong.
Well, Terry, every time you have a coaching change, you're going to have some attrition like that, and especially Ellis Johnson played primarily zone. He recruited guys for the 2-play zone. Will Muschamp plays man-to-man almost exclusively. That he went, all these guys, most of those guys were in the secondary that left. Elijah Daniel was kicked off, and we had a couple more leave voluntarily, but that's a big part of it, and that's why you saw it specifically on defense. Anytime you bring in, there's a coaching change, there's going to be some attrition like that. It was a little more. It hit Auburn a little bit harder, but we're talking about 2 different kinds of defense, and I think that was the biggest part of it as far as the defense is concerned.
Well, I understand that, but I'm really, as I said, I'm merely asking. A young person that gets a scholarship to a major university wants to do whatever they're taught. They don't just walk off. Something is wrong somewhere. I don't know what it is. There's something somewhere that's wrong. I have never in my entire life, and I promise you, I'm a minute older than you are, seen a major college program lose 8 players, scholarship players, in 1 year. Never.
Well, you didn't witness the Pat Dye era then.
Well, we talking about Coach Dye. But I'm just saying, he inherited the program. He didn't recruit them. After he started his own program, he didn't have that. When he inherited the program, there was a lot of people left. But these are kids that Coach Malzahn has recruited. And for them to leave, there's something not right. Just cut it down to the bottom line. Something's not clean in this milk now. Either you're recruiting people that think they're higher than Jesus and deserve a golden plate at the end of the road and don't want to abide by rules and regulations. I can just get by because of who I am or there's something wrong with the coaching staff. There's one or two. You're either recruiting wrong or there's something wrong with the coaching staff. I mean, that's bottom line. There's not but two things can happen. If you're recruiting the wrong people or there's something wrong with the coaching staff.
Well, Terry, we really appreciate your input there, and we'll discuss that a little bit more, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
have
much.
A great weekend, sir.
You too, Terry. Appreciate it so much. Dan, you're on Sports Call. Dan, you with us? May have lost Dan there, but Dan, give us a call back if you can. 1-888-9-TIGER-9 334-887-3401. Look, there's no doubt that the loss of players has been a problem for Auburn through all the different transition and all that. But look, after hearing what Duke Williams did, you had no choice. I mean, 3 times, 3 strikes, you're out. Just continuous. Can't keep your head on your shoulders and do the right thing when it's asked of you. I don't care what your ability is. Got to get rid of that guy and take your chances somewhere else. And that's what Gus Malzahn's done. I mean, he's given some guys some second chances. Nick Saban's done that too. You know, Nick Saban's giving guys second chances, and when it doesn't work out for him, he gets rid of them. So, and Nick Saban had a big blow up about 6 or 7 months ago with the Thompson. You know, when the player from Georgia came over and they ended up kicking him off, he said, "Look, yeah, I took a chance on him. It didn't work out." And he said, "I also took some chances on some guys at Michigan State." And he said, "They've turned into great individuals now because I gave them another chance and didn't kick them off to the curb." So, look, there's all types of different ways to be critical. Yeah, selfishly, coaches probably will endure more from a guy that's a 4 or 5 star than they will a 2 or 3. It's just natural human the way we do things. But I think Gus Malzahn's taking care of business. When somebody's not buying into the program, he gets rid of them.
I think there's something to the fact that those that are 4 and 5 stars tend to be the ones that do get into more trouble.
Man.
I mean, you got to – why can you never have a Jonathan Wallace brain in a Duke Williams body?
And I'm going to tell you why, and it's not all of them. Again, this one does not represent all, but 99% of the time when you have a guy that's a highly ranked player that gets in trouble, it's because of ego. It's because they feel like, they're above whatever else is going on the team, and they can get by with more than everybody else because they're needed more than everybody else. So they want to push the line in the envelope to see how far they can really go. And that's why you don't see a 2 and 3 star guy, because they're grateful and thankful that they're on the team and have a spot. A 5 star guy's looking at it, not all. Again, this does not represent all, but most of the time, that's why it's a 5 star guy that's getting in trouble, Andy.
Again, a trivia question out there. Rudy Ford had 14 tackles against San Jose State. Who holds the Auburn record for tackles in a single game?
Stroud, you're on Sports Call.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are y'all today?
Doing good, Stroud. How are you?
So I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying correctly. You're saying that now that Gus Malzahn has removed Duke Williams from the football team, he is now instilling discipline.
That's not what I'm saying. What I said is that he had no choice. He had no choice, Stroud. I mean, he gave him some opportunities to come back, and once again, he proved that he's not going to buy in, so Gus Malzahn had to do what he had to do and get rid of it.
Well, would you not agree that this is way too thinking late, and that we're seeing a trend that Gus Malzahn will put up with inexcusable behavior for way too long? Can we not say that this is just another example? After we saw what he also did with Michael Dyer when he took him back at Arkansas State, he knew what he was getting up there, and he ended up having to kick him off the team too. It's the accepting of inexcusable behavior and letting it go on too long that results in destroying the morale of the players that are on the football team that are doing the right thing. And friends, that's a coaching problem. Do you not disagree?
I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I understand what you're saying on that, and I know there's more than, one or two individuals on a team. There's 80-plus guys on a team. And, I know coaches get put in weird situations and predicaments, and there is a fine line in trying to give somebody another chance and, deciding that, hey, it's time to go. And I just made a mention that I think most coaches that you have out there will give a guy that's a 4 or 5 star a lot more of a leash than somebody that's a 2 or 3 star, because their career's on the line, their contracts on the line, and they have star players, and they're going to buy into those a little bit more than they would somebody else. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. And maybe Gus Malzahn has probably been deficient in that area. Maybe you can use some examples like you just used with Michael Dyer and now Duke Williams. But, I mean, it is what it is.
I think that everybody can respect and appreciate a story of redemption. A story like a Cam Newton, we love those. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for that. But I'm not okay with 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 chances to get it right and keep on and on and on and on. There's just evidence that it just is not getting any better until finally, after a season is completely ruined, now we're going to drop the hammer down? This should have been handled back in February of last year. And it just drives me crazy to hear Auburn fans, and I'm one of them, hear Auburn fans call in and talk about how Gus Malzahn suddenly instilling discipline on the football. He's not instilling discipline. He's at the end of his road. He has to do it.
So do you feel like Stroud? Do you feel like that's where Gus Malzahn is now? You feel like that his back's against the wall, and that's where his downfall is because he hasn't been able to control the team.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, it was evident last year at the very beginning of the season when we had to suspend the quarterback for the start of the season.
So what's the solution, Stroud? What's the solution to that problem?
Well, the solution is to get either one, he's able to turn this thing around, or number two, get somebody in there that will.
And that brings up my point, the exactly how I started the show, and made mention of who out there is that person. And again, he comes in after 2013. I don't think we were hearing any of this, and then last year we were in, the top 4 for a majority of the season, and we kind of let a couple games slip away and didn't play as well as we should have. One mainly being that Texas A&M game, and it's just easy. And now you hear players out there tweeting and sending things out on Snapchat that I'm going to get out of here and I can't wait to get out of here and all this kind of stuff. And when things are bad, you find out a lot about people's character, and you find out a lot about how their willpower and their stay power is to not jump ship. And I just think when things are bad, if Florida was 2-3 and Auburn was 5-1, you'd be seeing C.C. Jefferson and Martez Ivey probably tweeting out there going, man, I should have gone to, I should have headed to Auburn. I should have done this. When it rains, it pours. And I think we pull out all the discrepancies for people. Look, I'm not saying Gus Malzahn's perfect, and I think you're right on, Stroud. I think maybe he's given a leash a little bit too long to some of these guys, but I don't have an answer. I don't have a perfect answer to it.
He's probably going to have to cut more heads than just Duke Williams. There's probably more problems on that football team that he recruited that I'll put on this. When you've got guys putting on social media that they wish that they were somewhere else, why not? If they don't want to be there, then kick them off the team right now. Let's start them off. There's lots of players out there that would want to play for Auburn. And that's when, lots of folks are hard on Tommy Tuberville, but there's one thing about it. He'd take a 3-star, and that person loved Auburn. You take somebody like a Quentin Rose, who is a 3-star, and turn him into an NFL player. I'm just saying.
I think there's a lot to that, Stroud. I think what you just said is a lot, and I had somebody stop me the other day and talk about player development. It's not about the recruits and it's not about the stars. You can bring a bunch of 4- and 5-star guys in, But it's about how you develop those players. And a lot of people out there feel like Gus Malzahn has struggled in that arena on some of that. So I think
Let me ask you one last question, then I'll get off. What does this do for somebody like Peyton Barr, who is showing up and he's doing the right thing every single day, and he's abiding by one set of rules, and Duke Williams was able, for all intents and purposes, the majority of this year, to abide by a second set of rules? One player is doing the right thing, and one player is taking advantage of a coach not instilling discipline. That will destroy the morality of a football team. That's exactly what's happened to Auburn this year. And Auburn people need to get pissed off about it. That's all I have to say. War Eagle.
Stroud, thank you so much, War Eagle.
Up against a break, but don't go anywhere. More Sportscall presented by Lee Marketing Group on the way right after this.
No purchase necessary. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Official sporting goods retailer of the Auburn Tigers. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Academy. The refreshing twist of Bud Light Lime. The perfect beer for when you turn your beach house into a beauty space. Complete with laser and confetti candles. Except you probably don't want to use those, especially after what happened last time. But that's the least of your concerns after the 80s band tire canceled. Luckily, the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light Lime is also the perfect beer for when you find a CD from the same 80s band. When your summer bash is back on, the 100% natural lime flavor of Bud Light Lime. The perfect beer for whatever happens. Enjoy the fun of Bud Light Lime beer and Busch exclusively. Gotta get the kill on your auto sale. When you buy that, you got to get the kill. Selection and price. Got to get the kill. Gotta get the kill. Did you know that Gill's Auto Sales now features the Prestige selection at their North Lake and Opelika locations? Gill's Auto Sales now has over 100 Prestige vehicles in stock. Newer models, low mileage, with bank financing available. Come see the Prestige selection at Gill's Auto Sales North Lake location and their new Opelika location. Gotta get to Gill's.
Nestle is committed to delivering pure, great-tasting water to you and your family. And by pure, Nestle means every drop in every bottle of Nestle Pure Life is filtered through a 12-step quality process. And by great taste, Nestle means that they enhance their water with a unique blend of minerals. Stay hydrated and refreshed with Nestle Pure Life, which comes in a variety of sizes, perfect for anyone looking to live well. Right now, pick up 3 Nestle Pure Life Sports cap bottles or 2 1-liter bottles for just $2 at one of 15 TK's convenience store locations.
Plumbing problems can be a huge headache. And if you're dealing with them, you're going to want to handle them all with one call. Make that call to Benson Plumbing. Whatever or wherever the problem, Benson Plumbing can take care of it. They handle all residential, commercial, and industrial plumbing, water heater replacement, sewer line replacement, general repairs on faucets, toilets, anything. Benson Plumbing will make the problem and the headache go away. One call does it all. Call Benson Plumbing today at 887-6562 or shoot them on Stage Road in Auburn.
And
But you only hit 2 bouncers.
He broke Xavier Dampier's jaw.
I don't think he broke it.
Well, that's what Wes heard today.
Really?
Yeah, he said. I mean,
Well, they said according to East Alabama, there's no even proof he was there.
Regardless of whatever it is, I don't think Damian. I think Damian Craig let him.
I'm not into the business of defending Dewey.
I know that, but I'm not in the defense. But it is odd that Damian Craig comes out and says a lot of things that are direct opposite of what we've heard from other people that were there and saw with their own eyes. And it is a big deal, and he is a problem. And you can't just say, "Oh, he's a good kid." Well, I mean, he's not a good kid because he finds trouble. You know, he goes out and seeks out trouble, not trouble finds him. But fighting people. I mean, fighting with a basketball team. Fighting with, I mean.
How much of that is fact, though, that we know is fact?
He got suspended for something in back at.
And he had a black eye. I don't know what the deal was in
He didn't run into a wall somewhere.
He did not.
Stop by and see us on Gateway Drive in Opelika or order online at myhoneybakestore.com. Honey Baked Ham, perfect every time. We guarantee it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Friday edition of Sports Call. Andy and Brett here with you for one more segment in the first hour of today's show. It's going to be a short one, but still time to get a phone call in. 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free locally at 334-887-3401 on the AO Tourism Hotline. Look, you know, Stroud, he brings up a good point. I think a lot of people feel exactly the way he does. I would say this in response to what he said. As a college football coach, you cannot have a zero tolerance policy just across the board. You wouldn't have a team, and if you did, it wouldn't be very good. That's the truth.
But when is too many chances too many chances?
He brought up Nick Marshall and said maybe he shouldn't even been on the team last year. You know, for the offense that he had. Yes, was it stupid? Yes. But it was minuscule compared to a lot of other things.
It's nothing violent. I mean,
so he got suspended for half. I think that was probably appropriate. Now, Nick, as far as I know, he minded his P's and Q's. Besides, I'm sure he did some stuff. They just didn't get caught, but he didn't get caught.
So does every other college student.
But now, look, Duke Williams, he was on his last chance. That's for sure. But did he play favorites with him? I don't know. But I don't know how you resolve what Damian Craig said in that long interview when he defended him. I mean, looking back on that now, I don't know. I didn't know what to make of that. Quickly, let's go to the phone.
Yeah, Will, you're on Sports Call.
Hey guys, how are y'all?
No, we're good, Will. How are you? Real quick, Will.
All right, real quick, I'll get my comments, then I'll listen to y'all on the other side of the commercial and hear your comments. But listen, any Auburn fan that calls in right now and starts bashing Gus Malzahn and the coaching staff and start saying that we shouldn't give people chances and there should have been. These people have never coached. They don't have $4 million contracts. They're not coaches at big schools, and Auburn is a big boy program nowadays. And, yeah, we're going to give certain players the benefit of the doubt. Did he do the right thing? Yes. If Big Will's that big of a problem on the field and to the team, it needed to be done, and he did the right thing. However, everybody calling in talking about third, fourth, fifth chances. Look at the stats. Before the season started, you never heard anybody calling in saying, hey, we need to get rid of Dick Williams right now. No, you heard people calling in saying, can't wait to see what Jeremy Johnson and Dick Williams is going to do this year. And he's the Heisman candidate, and it's going to be an All-American, and we're just going to light up the world. So everybody needs to just chill out and let the rest of the season play out and give Coach Malzahn, give Coach Muschamp a chance to get the program pushed in the right direction, get some more players in, recruit more players in, and let's see what happens. Now, 3 or 4 years, or not even that long, 2, 3, 4 seasons like we got now, and there's still problems. Yes, then we need to reevaluate, see what needs to be changed. But right now, I just think everybody needs to relax and hold on and let these guys that we're paying these contracts, let them do their jobs. Let's just see what happens. Yep. War Eagle guys, I'll listen to y'all on the backside.
Thank you, Will. We appreciate it. And once again, Dan calls right here at a break. So, Dan, it's going to be a pretty extended break. So we'd love for you to hang on, and we'll catch you. But hey, you know what didn't know what I brought up at the beginning of the show?
Absolutely.
I mean, just breathe. I mean, I'm upset too that we lose. And nobody takes it any harder than I do, but what are you going to do about it? Can't go out and look for another coach every time you lose a ball game.
The Fox Sports Report is coming up next. We'll be back with hour number 2 of Sports Call right after this.
Alabama's interstates are the hot spot for careless big rig accidents and people are getting hurt. When big trucks don't follow the rules of the road, that's when serious accidents happen. And that's when you need to call Kenneth Ingram Jr. We've got your back, and we'll fight to get you the maximum recovery. Make one call to Kenneth Ingram Jr., champion of the common man, 256-212-9700.
Service, selection, quality, and value. Hard to find all in one package, but the all-new JD's Tire and Lube Center at the Old Horseshoe location in Alex City delivers. Get full service at the pump with JD's no ethanol fuel and diesel fuel. JD's Tire and Lube offers any brand of tire you can name with professional installation and fast turnaround. JD's does all your vehicle maintenance work, and you can always expect great service on all we do at a price that delivers value. JD's Tire and Lube in Alex City is the total package for all your vehicle needs.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 93.9, WGGZ in Union Springs, Montgomery, and Auburn, and AM 620 WTRP in LaGrange. Fox Sports trending now.
For the Texas Rangers, it was all worth that extra effort. Swinging a ground ball left side of the infield. Charged by Tulowitzki on the run. Throw to first. Got in time. The shield. Safe at first base. Coming in to score is Jimenez. It's an infield hit for Delino DeShield. The Rangers now lead 6-4.
That would be the final on the Rangers radio network in 14 innings. And Texas is now up 2-0 on the Blue Jays in the best of 5 American League Divisional Series. The Royals are rallying against the Houston Astros. It's 4-3 Houston right now in the bottom of the 6th inning in their game 2. You can see it on Fox Sports 1, and the Royals are threatening with the bases loaded and just 1 out. Houston is up 1-0 in the best of 5 series. Cubs and Cards at 6:45 Eastern. Mets and Dodgers 9:45 Eastern. Job tonight. Mariners fired skipper Melissa McClendon. Marshawn Lynch out for the Seahawks again because of a strained hamstring. I'm T.F. Byer.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG, Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
We are Steel, German-engineered chainsaws and landscape products. The majority of which are made here in America by Americans.
And exported to over 90 countries around the world.
Find out why Steel is #1 in America at SteelUSA.com.
Find your Steel outdoor products and more at the new Centerfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City. Make your tailgate rock and roll with Jimmy's Car Stereo with top-of-the-line sound equipment from Kenwood, Pioneer, Alpine, JL Audio, and lots more. Jimmy's is the area leader in car audio. Let fans of other teams tremble before your custom-built tailgate system and show everyone who's really #1. If it rolls, Jimmy's can make it rock. They're open 9 to 6 at 908 Opelika Road in Auburn. Upgrade your tailgating experience to championship level today with Jimmy's Car Stereo. Low mortgage rates are making news again. Lock yours in now with a hometown lender you know and trust at Auburn Bank.
Hi, I'm Kathy Crawford, and I'm proud to be a part of the Auburn Bank mortgage team with more than 100 years of lending experience. See me at our Opelika branch.
Auburn Bank since 1907. Your partner, your neighbor, your friend. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval. Online at auburnbank.com.
Don't wait until your air conditioner breaks to find a service company. Every company in town is locally owned, experienced, honest, and prompt. Just ask them. But instead of just asking them, ask your friends, family, coworkers, and people you trust. And they'll say, May Refrigeration. If you need your AC serviced or replaced, call May at 745-2653. That's 745-COLD. May Refrigeration. Serving the air conditioning
Dan still hanging on.
Like area since 1968.
My God, let him get on.
Ask around. Shelf stock, doors unlocked, open sign on. So, customers, internet now. Who are you? I'm you from the future. I'm English in the future? Don't worry about that. Look, mate, you need to spice things up around here. Bigger signs, banners, business cards, that sort of
Like, this is making me sad.
All right, man,
Governor, where should I get these signs? Advanced Graphics, boys. They offer digital printing, vehicle graphics and wraps, lighted commercial signs, custom apparel. You need all of it, chat. The fate of the world depends on it. 939 Opelika Road in Auburn. The number 501-8600. For the good of my business and the human race, I've got to get to Advanced Graphics today.
Score with more from Kyle Gregory Ford. Right now, save up to $12,000 to the best selling truck in America for 38 years. The 2015 Ford F-150. Plus, with any new Ford purchase, you get more. Your choice, a 15-inch TV.
Or he just missed hitting.
And a $100 Walmart gift card.
Donaldson just missed hitting one out to win. They getting a fight?
It was verbal confrontation.
Jalen Sue. Hurry to Kyle Gregory Ford in Auburn, Alabama. And score. All rebates to deal. Plus tax, title, and tax. With approved credit. Offer expires November 2nd, 2015.
Good Lord, he did it again. It was foul again, wasn't it?
Where we are on the hunt for the legendary TK's convenience store. Good to have the best deals on goods like 20-ounce Pepsi, 2 for $2.50, Woodbridge wine, 1.5 liters for $9.99, and all your daily necessities, as well as the most competitive prices on gas with brand names like Texas.
Boy, it was dialed in there for.
It is believed to have the cleanest store to
for a
get
second.
you in and out of flash. With great deals like those, the only place to go is TK's convenience store. And there we found it. With 15 locations to better serve you, there is no way you can't find one of these great stores.
You better buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a show to watch.
From Tiger Communications.
Jackson, touchdown.
For 20 years, East Alabama's sports talk leader.
Where you drive,
Sports Call.
Oh, what a shot.
Call in now at 887-3401 local. Or 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free. And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains. Sports Call.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Call on this Friday afternoon. Andy Graham and Brett Pritchard here with you for one more hour, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free or locally at 334-887-3401 on the Auburn Opelika Tourism Hotline.
I don't think we changed it.
I'll get it out in a minute. A spirited first hour. I hope that continues on in the second hour, taking your phone calls. Texas Rangers did go ahead and win in 14 innings over the Toronto Blue Jays 6-4. The Astros, I think, up 4-2 on the Royals as that game is waning late in the late innings. A trivia question out there. Rudy Ford had 14 tackles against San Jose State. Who holds the Auburn record for tackles in a single game? And we'll open the second hour. Go to the AO Tourism Hotline.
Yeah, let's try Dan. Dan, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still.
Hey, we appreciate you hanging on, brother.
Yeah, you won't prolong. LSU Tigers, babe. I just want to let y'all know we listening, and we are the #1 football team at SEC.
Y'all are well. That's the question. So, hey, look, it didn't bother me a bit. Hey, you're not ruffling my feathers. I mean, y'all beat us straight up, and Leonard Fournette. I'm not ready to just buy all in and say LSU's the outright best team in the SEC. I think they're definitely one of the best teams, but still not a very complete team offensively. I mean, Leonard Fournette is unstoppable, obviously, but Brandon Harris still in the passing game lacks a little bit to be desired. And I guess Dan said his piece and checked out. But I mean, that's the truth.
All that time to.
Oh, you know what? That's about like LSU.
They are listening. That's a good.
We're glad they are listening. We appreciate them tuning us in. So they,
in Baton Rouge.
Even though we're not playing as good as we want to play right now, people still worried. Let's go back to the phone lines. Chris, you're on Sports Call. Chris, you with us? Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, I was going to ask a trivia question.
By all means, go ahead.
Kurt Crane against Georgia.
The late, great Kurt Crane had 26 tackles in 1986. 19 solo, by the way.
And Carl Lawson's got 23 total.
Carl Lawson's got 24 in his career.
24, excuse me. I slotted him
26 in his great. Who we got on the phone now?
That's Chris,
okay.
Yeah. Well, Chris, congratulations there on that.
He was one of my heroes when I was a kid. Him and Kevin Green.
You got it, man. I mean, Kurt Crane, if you're a big Auburn fan, how can you not like him?
Yeah, it's just a tragedy he had all in it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We appreciate your call, though.
All All right, you guys have a good day.
Thank you so much. You too. Let's go back to the phone lines. Ben, you're on Sports Call. I don't think we have Ben. Ben may have checked out too. So, Ben,
maybe he was going to answer the question.
probably trying to answer the question. So, but 1-888-9-TIGER 9-334-887-3401. Our lines have been pretty full all night or all afternoon. So, we'd love to hear from you. I have some lines open now. Give us a call, and we've had a lot that we've been discussing today so far, Andy, and a lot of these a lot of the people that have called in talking about the different coaches and stuff out there. I mean, there is no one. I go back to what we talked about at the start of the show. I mean, if you're frustrated with your coach, then who out there would unfrustrate you? And I gave the example of, for me, I can't find somebody. I mean, what do you think Texas is doing right now? You want to talk about frustration? I mean, the whole ship fell apart for them. They've got their own network. Somebody texted me the other day and said, thank goodness Texas has their own network. That way nobody else has to watch. I mean, but Texas A&M was on the outside looking in. They buy into the SEC. It was the best decision they could have ever made. Since then, Texas is, the wheels have absolutely disintegrated.
There's a lot of things that you don't want to hear when you start the season. You get about 3 or 4 games in. One of them is we're going to change our offensive coordinator. That didn't work out real well. Never a good sign. We're going to change who's calling the plays. Number 2, we're going to simplify the defense. Never. That's what we said it all. That's never a good sign when somebody's saying that. And it's also never a good sign when a coach says, I'm not going anywhere. And that's what Will Muschamp said about 3 games into the season. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to get this fixed. And never a good sign.
Have we heard that coming out of Auburn this year so far?
What's that? Well, Muschamp said that.
I'm talking about the offensive.
We have not heard that yet. And people, you know what? There's a question that people keep asking: who's calling the plays? Is it Gus Malzahn? Is it Rhett Lashley? I always thought it was Gus. I mean, I know they collaborate.
So what does Rhett do?
Well, I mean, I think they collaborate and they, kind of decide.
I mean, is that what
they may share the same brain? I don't know. They seem like they're pretty in sync.
In sync, I don't know if I would use
they're
that.
In sync. The
team is not, and it's not translating over for sure. But interesting stuff. Let's go back to the phone lines. Matt, you're on Sports Call.
Hey, gentlemen, how y'all doing today?
Great, Matt. How are you?
Pretty good. I kind of been. I used to call pretty regular. I kind of just sat back this year and just listened and. I basically just got a couple comments. First comment is our defense, Will is a good defensive coordinator, but he's not a magician. It's obvious we're not as talented as we thought we were on defense. We got a lot of bad habits that's been on this defense for a while now. And, it frustrates me. I'm not saying today, but in the past couple of weeks, and I'm frustrated too. But at the same time, I realize, I'm not going to come down hard on Muschamp because he's only been there, he's not a magician, in other words. So, our defense has showed signs to get better, but it's just going to take time. Switching over to the offense, now, my frustrations, and I think a lot of Auburn's frustrations is it's almost like Gus is stubborn to the point that he ain't going to change that offense for nothing. And we're not saying we want a drastic change, but it's like, hey, man, the square peg in the round hole ain't working. You need to adjust your offense. You need to do something different. Maybe try Jason Smith, the guy they were, I think he's a JUCO quarterback transfer, and they played him at receiver maybe or something.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Try putting him in there and try doing what we did last year, running that spread option. But, more of it to the, with a running quarterback. But see, we don't have that now, and it's like Gus just continues to, it's like it's going to be this way and it's going to work. Well, it ain't working, Gus, and but if you keep being stubborn and keep doing what you're doing, we're just going to go right into a 4-8 season, and then that's not, and then here we are back to 2012. So I think that's what a lot of fans' frustration is we see what's going on out there on offense, and nothing's changing. Not one thing is changing. We changed quarterbacks, but we're still, holding the reins back on him. We're not throwing the ball. We're not even trying to create new passing games. I mean, it's just, that's what's frustrating, I think, for a lot of fans, is we don't see Gus, willing to change and adapt and try something different. It's just continue with the same stuff. Hey, it's going to work. We continue to run the same stuff. The defenses have figured out what we're doing because it's obvious. Everybody knows what we're doing. We're running the same stuff over and over. But anyway, that's my take on it, guys. And War Eagle, y'all have a good one.
War Eagle, Matt. And I will definitely say this, that is a point of contention with Gus Malzahn, and a fair criticism of him is maybe a little bit stubborn and maybe continuing to do the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result. We know what that's called, and we know the term that's called, and that has been a criticism of Gus Malzahn, and rightfully so. It's a fair criticism because you can't continue to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. And somebody else talked to me this week about this offense Gus Malzahn has to have a read option type quarterback, and we don't have one of those. And they kind of go back to Jeremy Johnson, and why did he feel like Jeremy Johnson was the perfect fit for this offense coming down the line when the ones that have really made this offense go over time is a read option guy. I mean, the way we've been able to run the football in the past. So it's all fair. I mean, it's all fair, the criticisms of Gus Malzahn there, in my opinion.
I don't think there's a question about it. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, and we, all got our opinions about it.
And the vanilla offense. I mean, try some different stuff.
Why change quarterbacks if you're just going?
If you're going to run the same
if you're
stuff,
handcuff Sean White. If you're going to throw 10 passes, that doesn't make sense to me.
It does not. And look, I'm going to go back. That's where the contention is. The offense is what's been so disappointing this year. The defense, look, Will Muschamp's been great everywhere he's been, and I think Matt makes a great point. People need to get away from jumping on Will Muschamp. I mean, he didn't all of a sudden forget how to coach. I mean, he even at Florida, and they gave him props during the Florida-Ole Miss game this past week. They said, look, these are Will Muschamp's players, and he built a heck of a defense while he was here. Even when they were losing and struggling offensively, they still played great defense and still were highly ranked. He is going to get that turned around on the defensive side. He's just got to get the right guys in there, and he's got to get the ones that are on the team right now to buy into what he wants them to do.
Let me go ahead and throw another trivia question out here for the second hour. When we're talking about the Big Six in the SEC, of course, LSU, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee. We always kind of talk about those Big Six. I'm kind of interested. I look at different things, and I try to come up with something that's interesting and a relevant trivia question. Who has the most losing seasons of the SEC Big Six since 1981? We're talking about 25 years here. Who has the most losing seasons of the SEC Big Six since 1981? I think it might surprise you. Give us a call, 1-888-9-TIGER-9, toll free locally at 334-887-3401. Up against the break, but don't go anywhere. More Sportscall presented by Home Place Mortgage right after this.
It's an interesting stat, but it's a long time ago.
What's that?
That's the stat you just brought up. The answer. There ain't been one in a long time.
Hadn't been one what?
Hadn't been a losing season in 16 years.
For who?
For LSU.
That's not the question.
You said who has the most losing seasons of the SEC in the Big Six since 81? You said LSU. I mean, you said that, but that's the answer to the question, right?
It is.
But, I mean, I get it. They got 10, but most of them were in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
In the 90s. They had 89 to 94. They had 6 straight losing seasons.
Oh, I see that now. You're right. Never mind. Excuse me.
But Tennessee's an interesting one, too. They've had 6 losing seasons, and 5 of them have been since 2008. We may have to reevaluate the Big Six. But Florida's only had 1 losing season. That was Will Muschamp. That poor guy.
Alabama's had 5.
Well, technically they've had 8 because they had to forfeit so many games. 93, 06, 05, 07. But I'm just going without forfeiture.
Or need to practice with the one you have? Come to the Sure Shot. Thinking about a firearm for self-defense? Come to the Sure Shot. Got a hunt plan?
Georgia had that one year 10 that just didn't
support all your archery, shooting.
They almost come over and beat us.
Let the Sure Shot be your first stop.
We can't beat them.
What value would you gain?
I mean, that is. I mean, it's unbelievable.
With 4 divisions under one umbrella.
I mean, have we beaten them, what, 4 times in the last 15 years?
05, 10, 13.
Group offers a comprehensive
It wasn't before that.
from logo design
04.
and branding to
04, 05.
and everything in between. LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting edge, results-driven marketing campaigns. Think LMG.
We've beaten them 4 times in 12 years. Is that
4
right?
times in 12 years. It's like one of those
Make your next stop
Florida
at
against
81
them streak.
Stop at Stable Road in Allen City. They get you started at 5 a.m.
Even as
every
bad as they
morning.
were last year, Florida. As bad as they were last year, they still beat Georgia.
Great pellet ice to
Killed them.
Yeah, they wasn't close.
Killed them.
And non-ethanol gas to keep all of your engines running clean and smooth.
I just don't know about this Tennessee. I mean, am I missing something? I mean, I just think Georgia's going to kill them.
I don't know if Georgia's good enough to kill them. Unless they quit. They may have quit. But I think we'll find that out Saturday.
Service, selection,
Every game they played's been close. Why would they get killed?
The all-new JD's Tire and Lube Center at the old.
I just think it's that time.
You think Oklahoma's? Think Georgia's that much better than Oklahoma? That much better than Florida?
No.
Offers any brand of tire you can name with professional installation and fast turnaround. JD's does all your vehicle maintenance work, and you can always expect great service on all we do at a price that delivers value. JD's Tire and Lube.
Kentucky up there, 2-1.
All your vehicle needs.
When hurt in a big truck accident, make one call.
Tennessee, South Carolina.
Alabama's interstates are the
bottom.
hotspot for
Kentucky,
careless
maybe
big
3.
rig accidents, and people are getting hurt. When big trucks don't follow the
There's a
rules of the
real
road,
good
that's
boy,
when serious
the
accidents
seller.
happen. And that's when you need to call
Yes,
Kenneth
we
Ingram
are.
Jr. We've got your back, and we'll fight to get you the maximum recovery. Make one call to Kenneth Ingram Jr., champion of
Amy
the
is
common
on the
man.
line.
256-212-9700.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
Experience the knowledge from the pros. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supplies.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply, locally owned and operated with over 30 years of experience, is very involved in giving back to our community. Our employees offer top-notch customer service with superior product knowledge, no matter the size of the job. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply have you covered.
Experience the knowledge from the pros. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supplies.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Friday edition of Sports Call. Andy and Brett here with you until 6 o'clock, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free or locally at 334-887-3401. And we'll go back to the AO Tourism Hotline.
Yeah, Amy is on the line. Amy, you're on Sports Call.
Hey there.
Hey, Amy, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you all?
We're great.
Well, I kind of just had a quick couple of comments. One is, I agree with what the last caller was saying about how I guess it just looks odd when you watch the games and they put Sean White in, and just it looks like they really are restraining him, and that's pretty boring to watch. Also, I don't get to hear much of y'all every day, but I remember when Gus Malzahn was being hired, that one thing that was mentioned was he had kind of a small offensive playbook, and like when people kind of figure that out, what will happen then? So I didn't know if y'all have made a comment on that recently, if that could be part of the issue, if people have figured out what he does, and if we don't add to that playbook, people know, the defense knows how to prepare for that.
Well, yeah, James, one of our regular callers, he's been saying that for a pretty good while now, and I think I go back and forth. I mean, actually, Gus Malzahn's playbook from Tulsa is actually online. There's a lot to it. What is it, about 200?
227 pages. 227 but it's pages. Not all plays.
It's not. But, I mean, there's not like, I mean, everybody likes to say, well, we run 6 plays. Well, that's not exactly true. I mean, I think to some degree, everybody, figures you out at some point. But if you have the right players running, go back to 2013, everybody knew what we were going to do then. And they just couldn't stop it.
Well, that's the deal. But now, and then, Amy, I think Amy brings up a great point that you've got to be more diverse. You got to keep people on their toes and catch them off guard, and you can't be so predictable. And we are very predictable. I mean, when you're up in the stands and you're knowing where the ball is going to go, you don't think the other team knows. I mean, so we are vanilla looking on offense, and we have a very looks like limited ability to run more than just a handful of plays, and that's just for the average fan out there. That's in the naked eye. That's what it looks like.
Exactly, and also, kind of like you all were talking about earlier, and I agree. Or it reminded me that, like if we don't have the right quarterback in there for what Gus Malzahn wants to do, I mean, why don't we? Because they've been doing the recruiting the past 2 or 3 years, and I don't know why we don't have the type quarterbacks that's needed for his system.
It is an absolute fair question. I mean, you are the evaluator of the talent that you feel like you need to bring into your system to run the types of plays that you got to run to be successful. And you're right. I mean, he is the ultimate say-so in who they want to go after in each position. And look, I didn't fault him at all for going after Jeremy Johnson, because I followed Jeremy Johnson since he was a freshman in high school, calling games on the radio, and he is a heck of an athlete. And in the couple of years before this year, when he came in, looked great. But the types of offense that we run with Gus Malzahn and that read option, I'm just not sure that he is that type of quarterback. Now, it doesn't say he can't transform into that, but that is definitely a question. I mean, I'll give you that.
All right. Well, thank you all. I sure do enjoy the show, and have a great weekend.
Well, we appreciate your call, and you have a great weekend too. And let's go back to the phone lines. Russell, you're on Sportscall.
Hey guys,
War Eagle, Russell.
Hey, I was going to take a stab at the trivia question there, Andy.
Okay.
And this is wishful thinking because I have no idea, but I'm going to say Alabama.
That's an interesting guess. That's not correct of the Big Six. Alabama has, I mean, if you take away forfeitures, which they've had to forfeit basically 3 seasons in the last 20 years, they have 5 losing seasons. That was in 84, 97, 2000, 03, and 06. But technically, according to the NCAA, they actually have 8. But that's still not the most of the Big Six, if you can believe that.
Wow. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, guys, and not talk Auburn football if y'all don't mind. I was going to talk a little baseball with the playoffs going on and everything, and local guys, Colby Rasmus. Y'all talk a little bit about him, and have y'all seen what he's been doing?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely seen what he's been doing for Houston. He is on fire right now in the postseason.
Yeah, and I just enjoy watching that team. Astros, I'm kind of pulling for them. I'd like to see them. It would be cool to see them play the Rangers because that could line up to go to the World Series, but I'm kind of pulling for Toronto because I love Josh Donaldson, obviously. But enjoy the weekend, guys. War Eagle.
Thank you, Russell. War Eagle to you, too. Let's go back to the phone lines. Ed, you're on Sportscall.
Hey, guys. How are y'all doing today?
Great, Ed. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I've kind of been in and out of the car. I don't know if anybody has took a stab at Tennessee for losing seasons.
Tennessee is not correct. They have had 6 losing seasons in the last 25 years. That's 88, 2008, and actually 2010 through 2013.
They're on a bad roll.
They've had 6 losing seasons, and 5 of them have been since 2008.
Yeah, well, like I said, I was just guessing because I'm not don't keep up with Tennessee that much. But I wanted to put my 2 cents worth in on first off, supporting, voicing my support of Dan Pierre, that the Auburn family, to let him know that there ain't no doubt who Auburn fans supported that situation with Duke, and it's just sickening to me that it's 8. that's just beyond reason. And he's my friend, somebody that'll know. But just voicing my support for him in that situation. And as far as the Gus Malzahn thing, he was first he was called the mad scientist and guru, and everybody would, some coaches even said, "Oh, that's amazing. We'll sit down for lunch or dinner, and he'll be writing out plays." But yes, everybody in the stands, everybody sitting at home, and that come well that the defensive coordinators, opposing coaches, and players know what he's going to do. And being stubborn, it's like saying that, I don't know, that I've never seen a coach be as stubborn, and it may cost him dearly. If he can't change his ways, they will be changing addresses. But you just want to pick him up and shake him, and say, snap out of it, Gus. This isn't going to work. Everybody knows what you're doing. Everybody knows what you're going to do. Snap out of it. Do something different. I don't care what it is. I don't think anybody cares what it is. If they drop back and throw it 3 times down the field, or anything other than what we have seen, and that everybody in the SEC and pretty much in the nation knows that we're going to do. If he can't come up with a little imagination and change to where he's, it's just stubbornness, and stubbornness is not the quality to have. I don't care what your job is, or what your career, what your with a wife, with a kid, with anything. Stubbornness is not a good attribute to have, and that's all that we can look at and call Gus. It's just plain stubborn, that he is going to butt his head up against that concrete wall until somebody takes him off to New Mexico State or somewhere like that, and maybe he'll wake up. But it's beyond just a little bit. It is absolutely embarrassing. And I love Auburn. I love the players. I love most of the coaches and everything. I love Gus. But by golly, excuse me, he's got to change. He has got to change, or he's gone. And I'm not talking about this year. He might get another year, but that's the most he'll get. And if he doesn't, he might not be there next year. Auburn people, we want to see some improvement. There has been no improvement this year. And like people before me said, if you're going to just put Sean in to run the same plays that Jeremy did, what have you done? You haven't fooled anybody. You haven't, regardless, you're not fooling the Auburn people. You're not fooling the defenses. You're not fooling the rest of the conference. You're not fooling anybody. Anybody in the stands can sit there and say, well, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And Peyton Barber's been a bright spot, but if it hadn't been for 2 kids getting hurt, Peyton Barber would still be sitting on the bench. And he's just too stubborn for his own good, and somebody needs to just, I don't know, maybe Rodney Garner or somebody big enough to do it, to go in there and just pick him up and shake him till his head rattles or something. But War Eagle, I love him, but my goodness. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed.
Maybe somebody will try that.
No rebut there. Can't really argue with him.
Up against the break here, but don't go anywhere. More Sportscall presented by Lee Marketing Group is on the way.
for whatever you're doing at TK's. TK's has 15 locations in the area and even more deals.
Like 2 20-ounce Pepsi products for $2.50.
Propel or Sobe Life Water, 2 for $2.22. 16-ounce Rockstar Energy Drinks, 2 for $3. Or 6 packs of 8-ounce cans of Bud Light, Coors Light, or Miller Lite for just $2.99. Quench your thirst, kick your day into high gear, or get a good time started at your area TK's. With 15 locations in the area, you're never far from whatever it is you need.
Just like a great coach, State Farm agent Tom Bryan at 1819 Pepperell Parkway in Opelika can help you develop a game plan for your insurance needs. Whether it's car, home, life, health, or business insurance, Agent Tom Bryan can dig into the playbook and help you find the affordable coverage you need. When your life and goals change, Agent Tom Bryan will be there to help you adjust your insurance game plan with a free family insurance checkup. So for all your insurance needs, call on a winner. State Farm agent Tom Bryan at 334-749-5777.
The key to happiness is realizing it isn't out there. It's here, and it's now.
Hi, welcome to Charter Bank.
It doesn't need a reason because it is the reason. It's in every pursuit.
Yes, ma'am. We have several checking options to choose from. Let me tell you about our bank free account.
It gives meaning to life, purpose to living. It's why we give, why we sacrifice, why we join. However you choose to pursue happiness, Charter Bank is here to help you pursue it. Charter Bank, pursue your happiness. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Mims Recycling will pay you cash for your metal. Cans, pipes, AC unit, washer, dryer, whatever. If it's metal, they'll pay you cold, hard cash for it. It could even be your old car, the one you can't get rid of. But they'll come and pick it up for free and pay you cash for it. If you worked at a job site, Mims will leave a receptacle for you to load up with scrap metal, fill it up, and let Mims take it away. Mims Recycling, just past the North College Street intersection on Highway 280. Call for pricing, 334-209-0193.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy around during the next truck commercial, buy around during the next Talking Duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make your plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
When you have car troubles, you're left with plenty of questions.
How did I let my tires get this bad?
How am I going to afford this tow truck and the repair costs?
What does this check engine light mean?
Fortunately, Plains and Tire and Auto on Wire Road in Auburn has the answer. They offer free local towing to their shop, which takes care of a huge headache for you. Plus, I'll tell you why that pesky check engine light is on for free.
We've got
and they offer free rotation and balance for life.
Bobby and Butch. Butch, just went away.
Major brands. Get your car fixed,
got
your
Bobby.
answered, and your mind put it easy.
Heavy calls today. Heavy calls.
Dollar General on Wire Road in Auburn. Call 329-5560.
If you're looking for Auburn gear, shop Auburn's #1 superstore, the Big Blue Bookstore. Tailgating needs,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. Got Big Daddy now. Big Daddy. And then Bobby. 15 calls.
Dan was 3 times.
I didn't count him 3 times.
Okay.
I only counted him 1.
What do we have, 18 last week?
Yeah, we had 18 last time me and you were on.
With the gym closing early for the night.
It was like this. I mean, it's been like this for 3 weeks.
7 days a week, and 365 days a year. Around the clock, you can train on the best equipment anywhere.
I think, I'm pretty sure we've won back everybody that listens to Sportscall at this point.
Oh, good Lord. Never did they leave?
Well, I mean, back for a while, it was kind of slim.
Yeah, I mean, but I think, yeah, here we go.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Call on this Friday afternoon. Andy and Brett here with you for about 20 more minutes, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9, toll free locally at 334-887-3401. And we'll get right back to the AO Tourism Hotline.
Big Daddy, you're on Sports Call. Hey, Big Daddy, you with us?
No Big Daddy.
Not there. No Big Daddy. So Big Daddy checked out. So we'll move right on down the line. Bobby, you're on Sports Call with us.
Yes. Yeah, I want to answer a trivia question.
Go right ahead.
Is it Florida?
It is not Florida. Believe it or not, Bobby, Florida has had 1 losing season in the last 25 years. That's 2013.
And that was Will Muschamp.
And that was Will Muschamp.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you, Bobby. Again,
well, we've narrowed it down. It's not Alabama, it's not Florida, and it's not Tennessee.
So there's 3 of the 6 gone. So there you go.
You got a 33% chance. Go ahead, give us a call. 1-888-9-TIGER-9
Right.
toll free locally at 334-887-3401. The question is, who has the most losing seasons of the SEC Big Six? Again, we're talking about Auburn, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Tennessee, and Florida. Florida's already been guessed. Alabama and Tennessee, none of those are correct. We'll go back to the Autism Hotline.
Yeah, Daniel, you're on Sports Call with us. Got to be Georgia. Is that what you said?
Georgia has had 4 losing seasons since 1981, 90, 93, 96, and 2010.
So that's eliminated. Now you really upped your chances. 4 of the 6 are gone.
I told you it would surprise you.
Yeah, it would. So only 2 teams out of the 6 remaining that have not been guessed. And so give us a call, 1-888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. Games on tap for Saturday, Andy, in the SEC, New Mexico State at Ole Miss. I wouldn't expect that to be much there. South Carolina at LSU now because of the flooding over there. And LSU's really reached out to them. You got to tip your hat to them, what they've been able to do. Let's go back to the phone lines, catch Big Daddy. We'll come back and run down the rest of these games in the SEC. Big Daddy, you with us? How's it going, Big Daddy?
It's going pretty good. Let me take a shot at that trip first, and I had a couple of comments.
Okay.
I'm going to LSU.
You are correct, sir. Believe it or not, LSU has had 10 losing seasons in the last 25 years. 81, 83, 89 through 94. They had 6 straight losing seasons, and then 98, 99. So have not had a losing season since 99, but 10 losing seasons.
94 was the interception game. They almost beat us.
Curly Hallman. God bless Curly Hallman.
Yeah, wish he was back.
Well, cool. I'm glad you guys were able to.
Yeah, we'll put your name in the hat there, Big Daddy.
Appreciate that, you guys. And I just had a couple of, comments on it. And I understand the frustration from everybody, but listen, I think we made the right decision by bringing Sean White in, replacing bringing him in as backup quarterback, making him the starter. But imagine this scenario if you had opened him up and he had the same issues that Jeremy Johnson had. Let's say he had 4 or 5 interceptions in this last ball game. What does that do for his morale? And then who do you go to? At the same time, the running game was running good. We were putting points on the board, yards on the board. I think that I just think everybody kind of needs to breathe a little bit and let Malzahn and his staff. We're paying them a lot of money, and I think they're going to right the ship. They've got a long track record of doing that. So I just think everybody needs to breathe, enjoy the sunshine, and worry.
Big Daddy, we appreciate the call. That's 3 or 4 calls. Telling everybody to breathe. I think I've said it too. So everybody just breathe.
Nothing like a little oxygen.
All together now. 1, 2, 3. In and out. Okay. All right. Back to the phone line. Spencer, you're on Sports Call. Hey, Spencer.
For the record, I am an advocate of breathing as well.
Yeah, it's kind of important.
Hey, listen, I ain't going to lie. I called in blind, had not been listening to the show. I was just going to see what trivia was today. So I'm going to go with LSU. Just kidding. I already heard. That does blow my mind. 10 losing seasons from them in 25 years.
Can you believe that?
That's astounding. That's like Vandy. But what was their number?
To be honest, I only looked up to 6. I knew Kentucky and Vandy would have a lot, and I said so. I thought I'd
how many years are you talking about? 25?
Narrow it to the Big 6.
20.
20 is my guess. If I had to, 82 is the last.
I'll check on that. And I'll report back Monday.
What would you say, guys? 20? Would that be?
I think it's got to be close to that, if not 22.
20 losing seasons for. That's what we're saying. We'll look it up.
82. After 82, man, you got to go a long way to find another win. Seriously. But anyway, we're not calling a Vandy football show.
Two callers. Anyway,
Two callers.
Here's my thought. Here's how I compare talent. Two ways. One, how much NFL talent is on the roster of a given team at a given. Right now, I'm thinking 3 guys might play at the next level. The other is to take a comparison of a current roster versus the last time that school had a really good team. If you look this year versus 2013, if you just pick up these 22 starters, not count special teams, and say, okay, who's going to bump off a starter from the 2013 team? Maybe Montrevis Adams.
Who are your 3 there that you're referencing, Spencer? You feel like are NFL ready talent?
Avery Young has possibility. After that, maybe Byron Cowart if he's got 3 more years to develop.
Yeah, I just think that's way too. I mean, he's definitely got the hype coming in as the number 1 defensive player according to ESPN, but right now he's got 4 tackles on the season.
But again, he's playing well.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
After that, one of the running backs, Peyton Barber, maybe even not even him. Might be a deal like with 04 when Ronnie Brown had the best career.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point. I mean, you look down there. I mean, there's just not a lot that jump off the page that you say, well, he's going to be at the next level.
Right. Anyway, if I'm a little more realistic, I guess, going into this year than I think most. It's still a grease fire, but not as much of a surprise to me as it is for some of us. But we press on. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, Spencer. We appreciate it. Grease fire.
A grease fire.
Don't pour water on it.
The refuse receptacle is a flame.
Yes.
Up against the break, but don't go anywhere. More Sports Call presented by Lee Marketing Group is on the way right after this.
Whether you're commercial or residential, Sunshine Heating and Air is here for you with state-of-the-art Daikin units that can save you up to 70% on your monthly power bill. Quiet and efficient with a life expectancy up to 22 years. Need to finance? We have you covered. Even if your credit isn't perfect, Sunshine Heating and Air has monthly, quarterly, biannual, and annual contracts. Our annual contract comes with 2 service checkups. If your old heating and air unit messes up, don't worry. We can fix that one too. Call Kevin Keel at 256-825-4849. 256-825-4849.
Are you looking to book a Walt Disney vacation or cruise? Fairy Tale Journeys is here to make sure your experience is magical. Fairy Tale Journeys is an authorized Disney vacation planner which specializes in booking your Disney moment. Fairy Tale Journeys services are free and include more than 200 home-based agents to help make your Disney dreams come true, from lodging and fast passes to magic bands and other Disney experiences. Call Fairy Tale Journeys today and start making your Disney dreams come true. 256-825-2668.
Home Place Mortgage of Auburn has the team to tailor all of your mortgage needs. With Home Place Mortgage, you get fast, personalized service from East Central Alabama's best team. Whether it's a new home purchase, refinance, or cash out, Home Place has all the options with fast turnaround and the market's lowest rates.
Hey, this is Eric McKinley with Home Place Mortgage. Call us for all of your mortgage needs.
Call Home Place Mortgage of Auburn at 334-521-7600 today. 334-521-7600.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, Sign Source has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale or photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly home service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758.
Like Amy would hit them.
Sign Source.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your number one stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing,
that boy's getting Greg Hardy
when
back.
your car or truck needs to run right, there's one
His
place
suspension
in the
finally
area to
up.
go.
Yeah.
conveniently located.
What it
in
was,
easy
6
to find
games?
Walls Tire.
6
Call
games.
today at 256-825-2628.
He's
Allegiant
good, too.
Staffing is your solution.
He is.
We serve Auburn,
Here's your
Opelika,
Ole Miss boy.
Montgomery,
Yeah.
Wetumpka, Talladega, Alexander City.
Remember he
and
played
the
with that big
LaGrange, Georgia
club on his
area.
hand?
Allegiant Staffing concentrates on light
Yeah, he
industrial,
play out there with that big
hospitality,
weapon. I
medical,
mean,
engineering, and
Somebody
upper
for Auburn
level
had one of those at one
don't
time.
give him a
Whether you're a
big
business
club.
owner looking for hardworking employees or someone seeking an entry-level opportunity or an advancement in your career, Allegiant Staffing is the employment agency for you. Visit our website at
2 calls.
allegiantstaffing.com to find the closest
Finish
branch
her
near
out.
you.
If you're looking for the best
It's gotta be
chicken fingers
close
and
to a
wings in
record.
town, then look no further than JR Sports Bar and Grill in Alex City.
Jeff and
Order
then
my
Jerry.
favorite, the wing basket, or try an awesome burger, quesadilla, crab claws, or dig into a healthy and delicious salad. JR's offers daily lunch specials that save you money without sacrificing.
I'm gonna
on
quit
taste.
putting all this
Check out their
together. Ain't no
Facebook
point
page
in
for daily
Oh, yeah,
lunch
there
specials.
is.
During
JR
football
can also
season.
cater
During
to any
football,
special
there.
events, from weddings to tailgate parties, and has a huge party room for any special occasion. Stop by soon at JR Sports Bar and Grill at their location right off Highway 22 in Alex City.
Ever envisioned watching your favorite team score a touchdown from the comfort of your dream home? I'm Angela Van Houten with Century 21 Lake Area Realty. I want to help you find the home that's perfect for your lifestyle, whether it's a lake
You think
home
Trey
with a
Matthews
perfect
is
deck
an
or a
NFL
home in the country with
prospect?
acres of land. You aren't buying just a
Maybe.
home. You're buying
Yeah.
a lifestyle.
And Rudy
Call us
Ford
at
might could
today,
make a
596-0566.
special teams. I don't know.
Visit my website, avhlakemartin.com. Angela Van Houten, helping families
Adams,
like
he
yours
can make a. He
Oh,
can make a
he's
roster.
definitely yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of the Friday Sports Call. Andy and Brett taking you home to 6 o'clock here. Still time to get that final phone call in 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free or locally at 334-887-3401. And we'll finish out the show going to the AO Tourism Hotline.
That's right, Jeff. You're on Sports Call.
Hey guys, thank y'all for taking my call. How y'all doing today?
We're great, Jeff. How are you doing?
Great. We're good. Hey, I was just wondering, has it been since Brandon taught that Auburn has started the season with a quarterback that they actually recruited since Jeremy Johnson? I believe that's true.
No, that's correct. That's correct, Jeff.
Okay. So maybe the problem is that, Malzahn, he brought in Cam. He had, he's seen these people before. He knows they can run. And I know you all are out there and you see the Alabama talent and stuff like that. But Jeremy Johnson, ever since I've seen him, he's gangly running to me. He's not Cam. He's definitely not Nick Marshall. So it's my feeling that the quarterback that starts next year is not even on the team. I believe a junior college player will come in and be the quarterback of the team because they need something. His offense doesn't run unless the quarterback does. And they don't have anybody there to do that. Jonathan Wallace may be even better than Sean White. And that just sticks out to me. It's been every time I hear it, and I've been listening to the show since the day that Terry Bowden got fired. And as long as I listen to it, I always hear, well, they're smarter people than me, and they make more money than me, and they're in charge. This guy was coaching high school football, 8 years ago? He doesn't necessarily have to be a lot smarter than anybody else. He just happened to be in the right spot at the right time. And that's what I believe has gotten him through this far is the quarterback that he's been coaching. And he hasn't had to coach them. They've already been coached. He just needs to get them on his team. So here's the best thing to do. The cheapest way for Auburn to get out of this is find $250,000 and go get a junior college quarterback, and they'll all be ready to roll again. And I appreciate you taking my call.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Good points there. And Jerry, you're on Sports Call.
Good afternoon. This is Jerry. Jerry is my identical twin. And
My goodness.
I have two different.
My goodness.
He's a lot more cool than I am, I guess you would say.
Does he talk as much as his twin? I said, does he talk as much as his twin Terry?
Yeah, he's Alabama fan, but he's so much more cool than I am. He shows respect. I just get down to the bottom line.
There you go.
And I'm gonna tell you something. The way I feel about it, I'm an Auburn fan, and I'm gonna tell you right now. Let's just look at track records. Yeah, Terry Bowden that went undefeated. He's one-time show. It's like a one and done. And he went and hired Gene Chisholm, who had a losing record everywhere he'd ever been. And he's basically a one and done. He hired Coach Malzone, and I'm not being this disrespectful. I'm just telling you the way it is, sir. He came from high school with this hurry-up offense. You deal by the sword and you die by the sword. That's high school football. It took colleges a little bit to figure it out, but they've shut him down. You got a. I don't mean this disrespectful. I'm just telling you. You got somebody playing with the big boys with a Waffle House mentality. And that's just about as blunt as I can put it. It worked for a while, but everybody has figured it out. And he cannot run that type of offense year in and year out in a major program. And I'll just shut my mouth and let y'all talk.
Well, Jerry, tell Terry we said hello, okay?
I will. Matter of fact, he's down here putting fertilizer in his pond and shooting turtles.
There you go. Well, glad Terry let you out for a little while, Jerry. Thank you for the call.
Number one, Terry Bowden won 20 games in a row. I don't think he was the one-hit wonder. Then he took Auburn back to the SEC title game in 1997. So there were some good years in there.
And we just skipped the entire Tommy Tuberville
Gene Chisholm only coached one place, and he had a 5-19 record. That's true.
Which was horrible.
It was bad.
And everybody was real skeptical of what happened there. But, he ended up winning a national championship. I don't have any explanations of how it works. I really don't.
People keep saying this, and I'm gonna just kind of we'll finish out the show, but people keep saying Auburn's offense won't work unless the quarterback can run. I don't think that's true. His offense worked fine at Tulsa with the throwing quarterback. It worked fine in 2009 with Chris Todd. It'll work. We just had terrible quarterback play this year. That's the bottom line. Good quarterback play.
It does help. Well, it does help when you have the running quarterback to give that option.
It does. Because we cannot throw the ball downfield right now.
Well, I understand that, but then everybody creeps up in there, and it's going to start hurting your running game too when they don't respect the pass. So
we've had a great show today, Brett. I enjoyed it as always. Thanks so much for everybody that called in today. Sports Call back on the air on Monday at 4 o'clock. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much for Brett Pritchard of Andy Graham. So long for now. We'll talk again soon.